let's take a look at the week ahead because I screwed up. I obviously didn't make a pick in today's game. I would have picked Kansas City, and so I would have been right, which is sad. So I'm already a point behind all the people that did. I think Champ is doing this pick'em tournament with me, so I don't know if he's willing to help me in chat, but anyone can mention in chat what their thoughts are on these upcoming games if they have a thought, and I want to also just get both of your guys' thoughts on them as well. So Davey, are you ready to go through it?
Yeah, let's do this thing. By the way, I just want to mention before you do this,
Mhm.
the Chiefs won by 3 points, which means the Chargers covered the spread. The spread was 4 points. So anybody with on the Chargers +4, you are a winner tonight. But anyway, on to the game.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's keep it here. We got the first game. It's a 1:00 game. It's the Cleveland Browns versus the New York Jets. 94% of ESPN has picked the Cleveland Browns. I can understand that. The Jets are historically bad. They do have Joe Flacco in quarterback. They lost their first game in that game against Baltimore. The Cleveland Browns had an up and down kind of game, but they did pull it out in their first game. The game is in Cleveland. I'll start with Davey. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, this is the thing I was really telling my friends in emails today. The team you do not want to bet on. Wait, you were talking about the Jets at Browns? Oh, okay. No, this is actually not that complicated. I'm going to go with the Browns. This is easy. The Jets are all god awful. Like, don't worry about what the Browns did last week. I think they are absolutely going to lay the points fine. They're going to win by a touchdown. This is one of the. There are going to be some moments where you don't want to overthink it. You want Zach Wilson to do well. You want the Jets to eventually recover, but they're just deficient of talent. I just don't think they're in a good spot here. I think the Browns are going to win easily.
And Stuart, what are your thoughts?
It's not even much of a game, especially being in Cleveland. It's Cleveland.
Yeah, because all these are straight up. I'm not even doing by points. It's literally who we think is going to win, so it makes it a little easier.
I can't give an argument for the Jets to win, so you got to go Cleveland. So
no, right.
All right, so we got the Lions and the Commanders. It's the first time the Lions have been favored in a game in 2 years. And the Commanders are coming off of, I think, a good victory over Jacksonville. I know some people are like, oh, Jacksonville's a bad team. I think Jacksonville's going to be a much better team this year. And Peter just subbed on my channel. That's really sweet of you. Thank you, Peter. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you for your sub. Yeah, it's awesome.
So, all right. So it's interesting, right? Because I think Jacksonville may actually take that division because that division is garbage this year. And I think that Jacksonville, I think they've got a good coach. I think they've got an up and coming quarterback. But anyway, so I think Washington actually beat a pretty decent team in that one. The Detroit Lions just barely lost their game against, I think they played the Eagles, right? And we'll start off with Stuart. What are your thoughts on the Commanders going to the Lions?
Did anyone pay attention to the fact that Robbie right now is trying to convince us why we should take the Commanders?
Yeah, this is definitely trying to set us up for saying, this is going to be the
Jacksonville's going to win the Super Bowl this year, guys. And Washington kicked their asses. So, but who do you think is going to win the game? Well, okay, so this is one of those games where you go, okay, they're so evenly matched. I think this is a really, really close game. And by default, when I'm in that and I'm in contests or trying to pick teams, I will always go with the home team because they're just too evenly matched to say one's better than the other. I think the Lions put up a ton of points and lost by 3, didn't they? Does anyone know the score in the last game? But so they're going to put up points. They're at home. The Commanders are a decent team. There's no doubt about it. And yes, Jacksonville's probably better than they seem, but nonetheless, I think this is too close a game to go with the away team.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
The Lions are favored by 1.5, if that's helpful. I know we're not going by that, but
1.5. Wow. Yeah, I would have called 1.5 on this because it's a tight game. Home team that's the only logic I can give for it, but it's not much.
And usually the home team gets a 3 by default.
Right.
So,
yeah,
Robbie knows. Yeah,
that's a good point. I would not argue taking the Commanders at all here. I couldn't argue it because it's a coin toss for me. I just think the Lions put up a lot of points, and they're probably going to put up a lot of points this weekend too. So,
well, you do have some really good, some talented guys on the Lions, right? Like Galladay, for example. Swift. There's some talented people on that offense, so I think it's a decent argument. I couldn't tell you. Like, I'm looking at the public numbers too, and I think the Lions are getting 59% of the bets at -1, -1.5. Like, I couldn't say. I guess.
Right. And so 51% of ESPN is picking it straight up for the Lions. But that's I mean, that's as close as you can get, 51-49. Like,
it's not a game you and I think the bottom line is this is a game you should not bet on. Like, this is not worth it. It's just
the only reason I would tell Robbie, the only reason I would tell you to take Commanders is so you can cheer for Commanders. That's
right. No, so here's the funny thing is I usually in these pick'em things bet against my team historically every time. So usually I would, because that way I win either way. Either my team wins or I won the pick'em that week. So that's what I usually do is I pick against my team. So to try to give you at least a sense of where I come from. Because my dad always told me that at a very young age, always bet against your team. So anyway, I picked the Lions in this because of that scenario, because it's so close to call. So I don't blame you guys for that at all. So
yeah, I mean, if you got to pick a side, I think you pick the home team. Now, here's the thing I want to take a look at. I want to double check and see who won that Lions game. I think you mentioned it, but I forgot.
So it's the Lions over the Eagles, and I actually have the scoring up. So the Lions started up 7-0. The Eagles scored 24 in the second quarter. Lions scored a touchdown in the second. They scored a touchdown in the third. The Eagles scored 2 touchdowns in the third to take a pretty big lead. And then the Lions scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to make it closer. And they almost came back, but in the end lost 35-38.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a way, if you look at a game like that, when a team gets 2 touchdowns late, I didn't watch the game at all, so I didn't know how it went. But when they get 2 touchdowns late, the first touchdown was a gimme. They were just going prevent defense, and they let them have it. So they did eke out another touchdown out of the deal, but it was, again, it was too little, too late. So maybe the Lions aren't that great after all. Maybe it's that they didn't put up that many points until the game got carried away.
It's
right.
Also in Detroit, they have 2 home games in a row to start the season, which is interesting.
That is interesting. So here's the thing. So if you're talking about week two is the ultimate test of recency bias. I generally like to take teams coming off a loss in week 2. And that would make me pick the Lions here because they had a tough loss, and you're like, they suck. They don't suck. This is a good team. Well, I don't know. Okay, let me not.
They're not a great team. They're a good team.
Let's not get the head of the horse because Jared Goff is the quarterback. I don't want to get that far. They're not necessarily good, but they have talent, and they're okay. Should we say okay? Was okay reasonable? Like maybe okay. Okay, and the Commanders are also an okay team. So. I would never pick this, but if you're forcing me to pick the game, I will take the Lions to win the game just because generally you feel like the team that's coming off a loss is going to have a better head on them. They're going to be more motivated, and they're at home too. So I think all that put together, I think that would make it pick the Lions. There you go. Robbie, I didn't catch what you said. Did you actually pick Detroit? You picked against
I picked. I say I always pick my team against my team, unless last week I actually picked for them because they were favored. So I think I'm going to go the line every week this year. Yeah, every year I do it a different theme.
Yeah.
So last year I bet against them every week. This year I think I'm going to only bet for them if they are favored in the match.
Okay. All right. So
I'm going to take the
Lions for Lions. C-Dub. That's an NFC North fan over there, folks. C-Dub guitar.
Also, I'm hoping to jinx them, right? Hopefully I'm wrong.
They have a great night too. Enjoy your dinner. I hope it's tacos selfishly, but either way, I hope you're gonna have a great dinner tonight. See you around 2, LG. So good to see you tonight. I think we'll see you tomorrow on the Surf Shack, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lions are terrible this year, C-Dub. I don't think they're terrible. They're not gonna win the division. But I don't think they're a terrible team like they were. They seem a little bit better. There's no injuries in either team, is there?
The Commanders have a couple of injuries, but I still think the Lions are gonna probably win this game. I just don't see them losing 2 home games in a row against NFC East, and I mean Philly's a good team, so they were picked by a lot to win the division. So, all right, next matchup is Buccaneers At Saints, I'll start with Davey on this one. The Buccaneers are 78% of ESPN has picked the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks. They are giving 2.5. The Saints were very fortunate to win last week. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons practically gave it to them. Honestly, Falcons doing their
As
typical
they
Falcon
do.
thing.
Yeah.
Right, as they do, exactly, as they do. I can't expect that in 2 weeks in a row. So I think the Bucks are gonna win this game.
What do you think, Stuart?
Do the Saints have a good defense?
Is that a question? I think so. I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
I can't remember how good their defense is.
I'd have to
You know
go
what?
back and look.
Honestly,
at that.
I didn't think the Bucks looked overly great in their first game. And what's his name is injured a bit. Brady.
Yeah.
Stuart, do you have your TV still on?
Oh, do you want me to shut that off or the volume?
Yeah. It's causing a little feedback on my end. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so Brady is he didn't look good. I didn't think the team looked good. So I'm not jumping up and down about the Bucks in this one. Who's home team?
The Saints.
Yeah, I'm not jumping up and down about the Bucks. They might be a couple points favored, I'm assuming, but
correct. 2.5.
2.5, yeah. So I'm not, because I didn't think they looked particularly good. Brady is injured a bit. Giselle threw him out, so he's living on his own, right? So
that was a story
that
someone pointed out to me.
I don't know if Brady's affected that much by all that, but it's factors to consider. He's not playing a home game, and honestly, they put up 19 points, but it wasn't a great game. It was mostly just field goals and one touchdown, right?
Yeah.
Right. So real quickly, C-Dub mentioned that Brady is 0-7 so far. Does that mean against the Saints lifetime? What is it? 0-7?
I would appreciate. Yeah, I'd be interested in that too, because I know that the Patriots had struggled against the Saints over the years. That is true.
That would be interesting, because that would be like the opposite of what he does against the Cowboys, where he has never lost to them, which is the one redeeming feature of Tom Brady. So
does C-Dub take the Saints? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of lean towards the Saints a bit on this one, just because there's
I'm surprised that they're only getting 2.5 here, because I thought the Saints might be getting 4, but.
Well, the extenuating circumstances, Brady's injured. Giselle threw him out. He's got all this stuff in his head right now, right? So
yeah. And Jamie says Brady's old a bit, which is also true. He's not getting any younger. He's got to be close to 45 at this point.
And honestly, I thought his age was starting to show a bit in that first game of the year. I watched the game, and he didn't look great to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are confusing me. Now I'm even less sure who to take. I was going Buccaneers before, but now I feel like you're talking me out of it.
I'm taking the Bucks, but I'm not with any level of confidence. I just couldn't tell you at this point. It really could. It wouldn't surprise.
Well, if you're going to take an upset win, that's the one. That's for sure one I would go upset. If you're trying to gain points on the.
I do need to try to gain points. I did not have a good first week, so, and I also didn't pick tonight, so I'll need to try to get one somewhere. So
I'll say something to Jamie's point, because Jamie likes us picking these against the spread. I do too. I actually think it's harder, especially in the NFL. I actually think it's harder to pick games straight up. Stuart, what's your feeling there?
I only do straight up. I only do straight up.
Do straight up? Okay.
Yeah, because the points messes with your head too much, I find.
I don't know. The thing is that you're picking, okay, you think, this is totally going to happen. But when it's this 10-point spread, you're like, no, actually, I think this other team, this underdog team, is going to put up a game. Kind of like what happened with, this is college football, but what happened with Marshall? You're like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Everybody's talking up Notre Dame. I love Marshall here, and they went outright. It was just kind of interesting. So that's sort of.
Well, the other thing. Well, there's a couple things about the spread. I like picking them straight up, and then if there's a spread bet that I like in this situation, I would take it because of the spread. Like C-Dub said, he took the Saints with the spread. So the reason I would take him with the spread is 2.5 points is messes with your head, and it makes you think it's better than it is. It's most teams win by 3 points or more. It comes down to they hit a field goal, or very rare do you see it within a couple of points, right?
Yep.
So that 2.5 points is not a big advantage, because you're basically, your team has to win by a field goal for it.
Yep.
The other team, and they're probably going to. If the Saints win, they're going to, or I should say, if Buccaneers win, they're going to win by 3 points or more than likely, right? So
Yep.
eliminate that from your head. Who would you take straight up? I think I would take Saints just because I know there's strife, with the Buccaneers, and they didn't look great to me in the first game.
Mhm.
And the 2.5 points just would be a bonus to me. So yeah, I would take with the 2.5, I would take them, but I look at the straight up first before I think about the spread.
I mean, it's interesting because like when it's that small, that's probably where you should start. Like, who's gonna win, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
who's gonna win? Who do you like? And if you're really torn between the two, you think it's a close game like the Lions game. Yeah, you go with the spread, but 1.5 isn't enough to really jump up and down about either.
Yeah. It's really tough because I don't have enough of a feel about the rest of the Saints offense to really feel like if the Saints can have enough to sustain an offense against Tampa Bay, because their defense seems pretty good. Like, I know the offense has been bad this year, but the defense seems pretty good. So I feel like that might be enough for Tampa Bay, even with Brady in a really tough place mentally. Like, I feel for him. I feel bad, like, in his situation. I don't exactly know why he's separated, but
okay. So I mean, I know a little bit more, but it's funny. People in my chat were talking about poor Tommy. He's probably homeless. So yeah, I'm sure he's doing. I'm sure he's doing fine. The reason was that Giselle said is that he keeps on picking football over her. That for all these years she's been trying to support him,
dude.
and he keeps on saying he's going to retire, and he keeps on not doing it, and so
that's the thing. Yeah, I think Tom has secretly been trying to get out of having to deal with her, and that's why he's been lashing onto these weird diets and everything to get back to keep staying in football. Because the once he gets out of football, he's going to be stuck with her every day. Which
he could go do like broadcasting. He could do whatever.
Did you just say stuck with her every day?
I know she's a supermodel.
She's gorgeous. I get that, but think about the rest of her personality, and maybe he doesn't really find it very interesting for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I'm not just necessarily agreeing with him. I'm just making the point that maybe that's what it's about.
Well, you know what, and it's a bit of a dishonesty thing too in a relationship when you say I'm retiring, and then you don't tell your wife, and you go all of a sudden say, I'm retiring, right? So
that's what Jamie said too. Like, he's mad she retired. Yeah, that's true. That's tough. Tough. You can't. Yeah. That is tough. That's like, you can't say you retired and then unretire. Don't be a Brett Favre. Don't say you're going to retire or claim you're going to retire and then change your mind. Like, just make the call and do it. Yeah, I agree. I think that's completely understandable.
Richard Leslie says Fox Sports already hired Brady for when he quits, right? I don't know that for true, but I would not be surprised if he's got a contract in waiting.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather have Rob Gronkowski at Fox than Tom Brady. He's fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or wouldn't that be funny if you had both of them?
Yeah, you could totally have both of them.
Actually, that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Brady's actually kind of a funny guy, but I don't know.
It'd be funny if you had both of them and then like somebody else do play-by-play and have like a 3-man booth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'd rather than be on separate booths, to be personally, because then.
But their chemistry, they used to play together for so long. I think it could be really interesting.
It could be really interesting.
I've never seen a 3-person booth that had 2 people that played together for as long as they did.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something to that. All right, so I'm sorry, Deb. I thought we got so much information on this game.
It's all good. Again, I'm in no rush either. So we got. I'm going to pick the Saints now because you talked me out of the Tampa Bay. We got.
Carolina.
Well, I am still on Tampa Bay though. Just for the record, I am still picking them to win the game.
I know. I think overall the mood has seemed to have shifted, but I don't know. So, but I need an upset, so that'll be maybe one of them. So got Carolina Panthers at the New York Giants. Carolina Panthers lost their first game. The Giants won their first game.
Oh my God, you're picking all the tough games here.
52% picked out of for Carolina. So just barely, but the game is in New York. We'll start out with Stuart. What are your thoughts on Carolina at New York?
Oh boy, do they pick the tough games on purpose for this?
No, this is all. We're picking all the games.
Oh, all the games. Okay, you're starting with all the tough ones.
I'm just picking starting with the 1 o'clock games. I do not choose in an order.
I think what it's saying is that the networks do not care for these teams, so they're putting them out early. Like, let's get them out of the way. Let's get them out of the way, buried amongst the other 10 teams that are the 10 games that are being played. So,
Panthers Giants.
I don't think it's a tough decision for me, but I'll let you go first.
I gotta say, probably my gut feeling would be Giants. It's not a game I would bet on.
My gut was Panthers, but I don't know. Davey, what's your gut?
Oh my God, is it ever Panthers? Holy cow! Like, are you kidding? Like, Christian McCaffrey was amazing last week. Like, I know that
They
Saquon was
lost
good.
though.
I know, but Saquon was good too as well for the Giants. The Giants had every freaking break they could get. I think the recency bias is going to be a big factor here. Like, everybody's like, "Oh my God, the Giants are back. They're good. They might be all right." I still think Daniel Jones has a long ways to go to be a capable quarterback. He did not play great last week, just from what I was seeing on Red Zone. So I think everyone's kind of feeling good about the Giants here. I think the point spread's fine. I don't think anyone's overestimating either side here. This is about right. But I still think Carolina's going to win this game. Neither team is really necessarily great defensively at this point. But I think people might think the Giants are back. They might be making a run. There might be some momentum. I don't feel that way. I still think this is a bad team with one good player, maybe two. Panthers have more going for themselves, so I'm going to go Panthers.
So thank you for chat that does research for me. Richard loves me. He said, I checked. It's true. Fox gave Brady a contract for $375 million over 10 years, starting when he actually retires. The joke's on Fox. Brady will play until he's 94. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then he'll have a 10-year contract.
Wrong. Jamie's on the Giants. Look at this.
Jamie's all Giants here.
You're
right?
in for some disappointment, Jamie. I'm just gonna tell you right now. You are in for some disappointment. I mean, when Daniel Jones throws those off balance passes that kind of flutter like a badminton shuttlecock, then you're gonna be like, you know what, Davy was right. Davy had it right the whole time. Like I'm telling you, I'm just saying.
Historically, when it's been a close game, I always pick for my division rivals because my theory is it's the inverse of rooting for my team. If they win, then I get the points. If they lose, then I'm happy, right? So, yeah. So in that theory, I would pick the Giants, but I'm gonna go Carolina Panthers too. I don't think the Giants are going to win.
I mean, look, I think it's a Giant. Like, it is a very close matchup. So to be fair to Jamie, like I think you're picking a team at home. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. If it's going to be windy, then I definitely would feel like the Giants would have a shot at it. So for what it's worth, I think Jamie could win that. But just my instinct right now says the Giants are not as good as they looked last week. I honestly thought they got a lot of luck on their side. So I think it'll be Panthers. But we'll see. So we're kind of divided. So like Jamie and Modfather, I think, picked the Giants. I picked the Panthers.
And I picked the Panthers Robbie, as well.
You picked the Panthers? But yeah, okay.
So it is.
I think C-Dub is on Giants too.
Oh, C-Dub's big on Saquon. Well, Saquon had a really great game last week. I will say that. Like I mentioned that. Saquon will save the day. Jamie won big bucks last year. This is true. Jamie's talking to herself in the third person. George likes spicy chicken.
That's a good reference. All right, we're gonna do two more real quickly, and then I'm gonna go get a glass of water because I finished all three that I had. Oh wait, I just found a fourth water. Never mind, I found a fourth one. All right, okay. Good that I came prepared.
It's from Wednesday last week.
Right, probably. But no, it's still cold. I think I just got that one. All right, so never mind. I was gonna say we could take a quick little break between the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, but we'll keep going. The next one, Davey's gonna enjoy picking because it's got his Pittsburgh Steelers. It's against the New England Patriots. Oh, we should have done this when Carly was still here. Carly's New England Patriots are 0-1. They're going to be playing in Pittsburgh. 77% of people pick Pittsburgh. I am picking Pittsburgh as well. We'll start off with Stuart. Are you picking the Steelers? Or are you going to go
Pittsburgh all the way?
Yeah, and Davey?
All right, first of all, if you're going to use this with a spread, the Steelers are getting at 2.5 points. They're an underdog at home. That is the biggest, easiest decision for me to take the points here. Mac Jones looked terrible in Miami last week. He was getting harassed by all those Dolphin players. He was turning the ball over and over. I don't think he's really figured out his offense yet. And the Steelers' defenses look pretty good so far this season. It's one
And
game.
Belichick 77% with Brady, 47% without Brady. So people
Absolutely.
are starting to realize that he is what he is.
Yeah, the only thing that could hold the Steelers back is that Trubisky could be a turnover machine. It's happened. We've seen it. But if they can hang on to the ball, if they limit their mistakes, you take turnovers out of the equation, the Steelers are going to come out ahead in that one. So I'm going to go Steelers getting 2.5. But I think they'll win. I think they're going to win the game at home. And
Amy says a half a point on hers, and she's going Patriots.
Spread is half a point.
Why? I don't like the Patriots at all.
I don't.
I thought they looked terrible.
Well, that is a factor. You're right, C-Dub. That would definitely hurt the Steelers there without having JT Watt.
Yeah.
Didn't
he go up pretty early though? He is a major part of their team.
I would not go so far as to say no offense because you've got Najee Harris. I think he's pretty good. So
if the game was in New England, I might take New England, but it's in Pittsburgh. I just don't see them losing that one. I don't know.
It is a factor, though. Watt's a very big part of that defense, so I think that's a really good point. What is this about Big Ben blobbing? Go to Dallas. I don't care. Ben stinks. Like, go wherever you want.
Ben stinks. Dallas stinks. Yeah, I'd rather see him in Dallas and watch him lose there.
Go in Dallas and embarrass yourself in Dallas.
It's funny.
I care.
Tyler Heineke, backup for the Commanders, was trending after the Cowboys game because everyone was like they should trade for him. And we have 3 quarterbacks on our team, so it might actually make sense. But I wonder if we would take anything less than like a first round pick for him.
Yeah. So you got 2 of our picks. Where do you lean, Robbie?
Oh, I'm picking the Steelers.
Yeah.
So
I look. Let's tell you what. C-Dubs is right. The Bengals were the Steelers were extremely fortunate to win that game. They really didn't want to win. I could tell, but I also did see signs that they were pretty good, especially on defense. So people are kind of gonna be down the Steelers. I'm like, they aren't that good. They got lucky. They were gifted to win. All true, but I also think it could be a different ballgame when they're at home. So,
I honestly hate the Steelers.
Many people do. It's okay.
Always have.
I'm not offended. Many people do.
And my second favorite team is the Ravens, so you can tell how much I hate both of the
God, really, Robbie?
The
Patriots. How could you do that? Like
the Patriots and the Steelers, so I hate both of them. But
I didn't know you were a Raven fan too. Oh, that's just unfortunate.
Wow, that's sad because
that's
I hate
changing things about my feelings about you. No, just
I hate the Ravens too. So both you guys have teams.
I'm not.
Why do you hate the Ravens?
They're the most boring football team in football ever. They've always been the most boring team in football.
No, they're not as tough to take as they used to be, but they are tough to take. I will tell you.
I started hating the Ravens when they
had the best field goal kicker in the NFL. How could they be the most boring team?
Well, I'm saying historically, because back in the day when I started watching football, all Ravens ever did was run the ball the entire game and bore you to death. And I never, they're just boring. I'd watch them and I go, oh my God, I'd fall asleep halfway through the game.
I like Lamar Jackson. He's not boring. I think he's been pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, they're probably more exciting now than they were, traditionally. But
back when they had Flacco, that was a tough watch. There was no question. That is a brutal. That was not fun watching Ravens football. So I'm not into.
Well, it depends on whether you like defense or offense, right? So I know some people that are really into watching defense, and the Ravens historically have had some pretty awesome defenses. So.
Yeah, but like I said, they were tough to take too. But their defense in the early 2000s was very good. Like that. Nobody would argue that. Their defense is great. It was one of the best defenses of all time. It was
the only people that like watching defense have far too many connections between their left and right brain.
I don't know, but it depends. Do you like only offensive hockey, or do you like interesting a 1-0 game?
Oh no, offensive hockey all the way. I hate New Jersey because they did the trap for so many years, and that nothing bores me more than the trap.
So I actually, there's some times where I really like a low scoring hockey game. It's interesting, but it might be because I'm a soccer fan too, and some of the best soccer games are low scoring. So I don't know. It's
something to be said about low scoring games. Same with baseball, like a great pitcher duel. I love those, but But there's a difference between that and like a Jets Bills game from like 10 years ago.
That's
where-
fair. That's fair. But I think sometimes you have like really exciting defenses that are like causing turnovers,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
there's definitely some to that.
Actually, yeah, I got to agree. I do like a good solid defense that plays well and all that stuff. But a boring offense bores me. I just no. If you're going to run the ball all day, I'm not going to be interested.
Right.
C-Dub says we should be keeping track of this for a smack talk session after. I'm with it.
I was just going to read that chat. We should be
That's
keeping
great.
track of this.
I love it.
Yeah.
Get right
Well, I
on
mean,
that.
at least my picks are going to at least be referencing some of it, and then we can always like go back to the VOD, I guess, and see who we picked.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pick the Steelers in that one. The next one is the Colts at the Jaguars. This is a terrible division. We are talking about it earlier. The Colts tied, and the Jaguars, of course, lost to my Washington Commanders. 88% of people picked the Colts at the Jaguars. And I guess maybe I'll pick that too. I don't know. I still think the Jaguars are a better team than people give them credit for. So I don't know. I'm still struggling with that, but I think the Colts. I thought they would be better than they were, at least in the first game. But we'll start with Davey. What are your thoughts on this one?
Can I pick a tie?
You could. Wouldn't that be funny?
I was going to say that, Davey.
Tied 2 weeks in a row.
I can't pick either side to win. Neither team is good at winning. I'm gonna pick a tie. 20-20, 2 weeks in a row.
That's fair. It's going to screw up me trying to figure this out, but that's still a fair assessment. If you tie the game ties, you get a mulligan. No one gets the points, so it's not the end of the world. So, but it's still better to pick one just because odds are it's still one that's going to happen. That was crazy that 2 games went down to the wire. There was almost 2 ties in one game in 1 week.
It was very close.
It wasn't exciting for me because I had a 4-pick parlay, and I had taken a team in the Colts game, and I can't remember who I took in the game even.
Jamie, I like your call. I like your pick there. Like when you talk about the spread, that's a great pick. 4.5, really good call. They're at home too, so like that's really good.
You just need Modfather's pick because he'll lie and say he was right every time. Yes, I will, C-Dub. Of course I will.
We know that's
true. I'm so tempted to take Jacksonville on this because I know they played well last week, and I feel like after a loss where they played well, like I might change.
I'm going to say the Colts didn't play well last week. This is a toss-up game for me because at least the Colts tied last week and the Jaguars lost. But Jaguars,
right? Eflat was in the room with me watching that game. We were watching us on the laptop when we were in Seattle at a cabin. So like Subtractor Cat and myself and Eflat, we were all watching these games. Jacksonville and then the Colt game going were at a tie. It was a wacky day. We were all watching that together. It was really fun.
That makes me feel happy.
I love that. Yeah.
That makes me happy that you watched that game. But I'm going to take the Jaguars mostly because I need to make some points. And if 88% of people picked the Colts and there is an upset, maybe I can gain some ground.
It's a good upset game because Jaguars are at home, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think you'd have a good chance with it too, because like honestly, the Colts just are not that good a team at all.
This is just straight up, right?
Yeah.
There's no
straight up.
Yeah,
no points. So yeah. The next one is the beloved Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. And 75% pick the Ravens at home. Both teams won their first game. I'm going with the Ravens at home, but Davey, what do you think?
Oh, sorry, I spotted down. So let's go look at this together, shall we? Okay. The Dolphins humiliated the Patriots last week, right? In Miami Gardens. The Ravens last week. See that I can't. It's funny. I see how exciting the Ravens are. I can't even remember what the hell they did.
The Ravens beat the Jets. We talked about it. The Ravens.
Oh, they beat the Jets. That's right. Yeah, the Jets are forgettable too. So this is a tough one to call, actually. To be honest with you, I think you can really go either way of this. I'm probably gonna pick Miami just because, like I said, both teams are coming off wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess the Dolphins. It's just a coin flip for me. I honestly could see either side taking the win here. Both teams have flaws. Both teams have quarterbacks which are kind of shaky at times. Both teams have guys that are good at running, like quarterbacks that can run with the ball. Both teams defensively or whatever. Both teams have decent enough running attack. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. The decent running. I think they're mediocre. Yeah, I'll just take Miami, but I honestly have no idea. I flip a coin.
Well, Miami's favored by 3.5. That's interesting.
No, actually, I think Baltimore's favored by 3.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking the underdog. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
do you
would go
think?
Ravens. Just because it's a home game, and Ravens they're a really strong home team usually. So I'd go Ravens here.
Yeah, that's what I feel
Yeah.
too.
And I
All right,
love I love the Dolphins with the points. If you're using the spread for this game, I would definitely go with the Dolphins getting 3.5. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Falcons at the Rams. Both teams had a disappointing first week. The Rams are favored by 97% of people think that the Rams will win at home, and I am with them because the Falcons find ways to lose always, and it's hard for me to go against the Rams this season. I was surprised that they lost their first game, but yeah. What do you think, Stuart?
Oh, that's not even. This one's a no-brainer. Jamie mentioned that Miami plus 3.5. So I'm saying Ravens are a good bet, and this is where the spread can kind of mess you up in the same place. It might be a good one. 3.5 is a good number because if it's going to be a close game, 3.5 changes everything, right? Because if someone's going to win by a field goal, yeah, you're going to win by a field goal, but still at 3.5 covers that, right? 2.5 I don't like. 3.5 I like. I would probably go Miami against the Ravens at 3.5.
Yep.
But yeah, it's 10.5 in Los Angeles game, the Rams against the Falcons or whatever.
That's a lot. That's a lot
Yeah,
of points.
if you're straight up, yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yep.
If you don't mind, I'll see if I can jump in on this.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? I don't think the Rams are that good. I think they've lost some pieces from last year.
I'll agree with that. But even losing
Yeah.
pieces, they're playing the Falcons, so
Yeah, in Los Angeles
No,
after
I
losing
mean,
week 1.
it all lines up. The metrics all say the Rams are going to win this outright. So I will pick them to win outright, but I don't think they're going to win by much. I think they're going to win by like 3 or 4.
Yeah, no, I
So-
think you should take Falcons by the spread, but I think Rams,
Absolutely. Yeah.
straight up.
But I
Davey
do
with
think the
the
Rams will win.
Davey with the hot take, yeah.
You know what? I mean, I've had hot takes before, and I've fallen on my butt on them sometimes. But it would be really interesting to see how the Rams respond after a Super Bowl win like that, losing key personnel like they did.
Oh, they're going to be a terrible team this year, but I still think they're better than the Falcons. That's why I would go there.
Take was lukewarm. It's not that far of a reach to say what I said. You're right. Like I just, you definitely think they're going to take a step back. That we know, but how big is this step going to be?
Davey hates the LA teams.
It's just an interesting spot. Like but by the way, I should mention that, if you were to ask me to pick a side on the spread, I was going to take the Chargers. They would have covered. Just so you know. Like I'm not anti-LA everything with NFL. Obviously, I love all the other NFL teams, all the other LA teams, but
if you had to pick an LA team to root for now, you couldn't root for the Steelers. Starting today, new fandom. Which one of the two would you root for?
Oh, I'd be the Rams. Yeah, the legacy's great. I love all the history. I think it's great. I love going to their games at SoFi versus the Chargers games at SoFi because like the announcers are cool, like the PA announcer, everything. They've got cool uniforms. They were cooler before, but even the modern ones are pretty good. So, yeah, I'm gonna go to Rams. I love the NFC too. Like the NFC is just a fun conference. Like that'll be the pick. Yeah.
I thought Stafford looked absolutely terrible in the first game.
He was.
It was awful.
Which is part
had
of
a
why I
lot of
think
those-
hell of a bounce back game in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. We don't know that. That's why I can never trust the Rams because Stafford you just never know what you're going to get with that guy. Like
No.
He still
It's
won
such
it
a
all
mystery.
last year. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was surrounded by stardom, right? Now they're all gone. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It's a tough call, Robbie. I just think we're going to see a lot of closer games with this team. And we're going to see some.
Sure. I just think
Yeah.
the Rams are much better than the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we expect. And we could come into Monday and we'd be like, damn, dude, like, why did we stress so much about the Falcons game? Like, the Rams beat them easily. Could very much happen.
I love how we picked probably the easiest game of the weekend to analyze, and we spend more time on it than any other game because Davey goes, "Well, I don't know about the Rams."
But as far as who's going to win the game, of course, Rams. Like, you would
Yeah.
be dumb to pick the Falcons to win up outright in this scenario. Like, no one's going to do that. So,
Right.
for what it's worth.
So let's keep in the West. We got San Francisco 49ers playing the neon green Seahawks. The 49ers are at home, and 77% of people are picking them, even though they lost the first game and Seattle won the first game. And I agree with that. I think it goes back to what Davey was saying earlier. Sometimes a team that's coming off of a tough loss can come back and beat, especially at home, a team coming off of a win like the Seahawks, especially because that game was pretty close for the Seahawks. I'm going with the 49ers, but we'll start with Davey. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a case where you go, the Niners are not as bad as they looked. They just had a bad situation. Like, they had all this rain. You had a first year, you had Trey Lance, who was getting basically awarded the starting job for a full season. And this is kind of his first year being the guy, not being one of the guys, but being the guy. And the Bears pounced on the opportunity. I don't think the Niners are that bad. I think everybody, my friends, who are 49er fans, are overreacting. They're like, oh my God, this sucks. Dude, it's one game. It's one game. They're going to be fine. Their defense is good. They got players. They still have, they still have Debo Samuel. They still have Brandon. They still have Debo Samuel. It's a good team. It's not that bad. The Seahawks got a lot of breaks last week to win their game, and they were at home. This week they're going to be in Santa Clara. It'll be a much different story. The Niners will win the game. I don't know how many points. I don't know if they'll cover 8.5, but they're going to definitely win. I think the Niners will win the game. I don't even think it's a question.
Yeah. Stuart, what do you think?
They're talking in chat here, and Jamie asked, what percent picked San Francisco? Was it 77%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting that this is another one, a spread game where I tend to agree with Jamie. If I got 8.5 points, I'd probably take what was it?
8.5. I think I would do that too, because like the Niners' offense isn't so good that I think they would win.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat them by 7. So that I would I would take Seattle in that situation too. But
but straight up, no way. No, it's 49ers. It's 49ers will win. Just how much will they win by is a question, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Jillian says, "Do we have a Modfather yawn counter?"
That's
am I yawning?
I don't
know. Good.
Davey knows I don't go to bed this early.
Yeah, it's true. All right, the next one's a 4:25 game. It's the Cincinnati Bengals at the Dallas Cowboys. 93% of people take Cincinnati in this scenario. I'm picking Cincinnati, although I almost always pick the Cowboys just because I hate them and I want to jinx them. But like, I still think Cincinnati is going to win this just because Dallas is hurt. It's in Dallas, which is interesting, but Dallas isn't that good at home.
No, you beat me to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like since they've gotten this new stadium, they are sub 500, I believe, at home. So that's not good. So it's not like it means a lot. But we'll start with you, Davey. What do you think?
No, this is like the easiest pick of the week. If you're talking about straight up, oh my goodness, like the easiest pick of the whole week. Cincinnati over Dallas. I know. I mean, look. Burrow looked like shit. Shout out Carlos Sings. But seriously, he was terrible. However, I think that was just a special circumstance. I don't think he'll be that bad this time. The Cowboys defense isn't really that exciting to me. So here's what I'm going to give you for this game.
Wow, Cowboys are only getting 6.5.
I think I saw 6.5. Right, it's not as much.
I've got 7.5 here. I just looked it up. Because I saw Jamie say
I have 7. So I'm like, what is the money line going to be for Cincinnati in this game? It's going to be big, right? Well, it's minus 370. So you have to pay $370 to win 100, or $37 to win 10, or $3.7 to win 1. Yeah, I think I would. Honestly, I might even do that. Like, I might be like, you know what? Like, It's you generally don't want to do that, but this is like one of those games where I feel like you'll get it fine. Like I don't think it's gonna be an issue. Bengals are gonna win. I'm not even.
Yep.
The one thing the Bengals, they both are coming off losses, so you can't use the the Bengals are gonna come into this thing flat. Probably not. Robbie, I'd be interested in your thoughts on this. This is really interesting.
I hate the Cowboys, so the
Mhm.
only reason I would pick them is to jinx them. But like, I still think Cincinnati's better. But-
C-Dub knows exactly. Mike McCarthy's just all the more reason to take Cincinnati.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jillian.
I agree.
Yeah.
Jillian nods as if she understands. I don't understand only giving. I got 7.5 points here in Canada for taking the Cowboys, so I don't understand that. To me, this is a 10.5 or even a 13.5 or something.
I love that.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys could keep it close because sometimes like they surprise teams, like they go up and down to some of their opponents.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think I remember one week where I think both teams didn't have their starting quarterbacks, or I think the Cowboys definitely didn't. They were playing Minnesota last year, if you remember. This is late in the season, and that was a struggle of a game. The Cowboys gave them a game, so I think when you see a team without their starting quarterback, you think they're done. The Cowboys actually had two such instances. There was one against the Steelers where I can't even remember the guy's name. Some nerd was playing the quarterback for Dallas. And honestly, the Steelers were getting a little nervous there. It looked like they might lose for a minute there. So you definitely when the Cowboys are an underdog, it's a very dangerous scenario. It could be a closer game than we think, folks.
That's why I think I would take them potentially in that spread, but I don't know. I still don't know straight up. Like they might keep it a 3-point game,
Yeah,
or something. But
yeah.
I'm still picking
Well,
the Bengals.
one reason why you might do that, I have no read on the Cowboys. I didn't see the Cowboys game against Tampa Bay, but if they have a defensive pass, it was terrible. Did they not bring a pass? So
they scored 3 points, Davey. They're the only team in the NFL last week that didn't score a touchdown.
Well, when did Dak Prescott get hurt though? Like, if it was in the beginning
Fairly
of the game,
early, but still, like you can't.
That might have been the reason. Like I don't know.
But
You're
I
right.
mean, it's Tampa Bay. They have a good defense, but it's not. I mean, they should have still scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, I was gonna say is that the Bengals' offensive line is absolutely terrible, and so it's possible
but
the Cowboys.
The defensive line for the Cowboys was supposed to be good, but I don't know. I just they got decimated early in that game.
Correct. I think I'm asking too much of the Cowboys defense to make a game of this. Yeah, I agree. In the end of the day, I think Cincinnati's going to win this game. I don't even think you worry about it.
The next one is the Houston Texans, who tied last week against the Denver Broncos, who lost. But the Denver Broncos, 96% of people think that they will take it at home, and I tend to agree with that assessment.
If it wasn't for bad decisions, Broncos would be 1-0 right now.
Wow. That coach was terrible.
What the hell was he thinking? It's like,
right? Like what the fuck? Like it's tough to trust a team after that.
Yeah. And you worry that, if they get another close game, is he going to do something stupid again? Because that was just stupidity.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have to take a break for 2 seconds because my cat is gonna destroy my couch unless I feed him. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and we'll come back and we'll hit these last 4 games, and then sorry, just give me like 2 minutes.
I think the Broncos. Well, I won't say my pick yet, but I think if you're talking about the spread,
you can make your pick.
I can make a pick. Okay. Well, I would certainly agree. It's a must-win for Denver. They need this game just to establish their chances for the playoffs. And you have a veteran quarterback like Russ Wilson. I think I would take them to win, but do not expect on any level for them to cover 10. That just seems outrageous. I'm with Jamie. If you can get a Houston plus 10.5, go take it, because that coach of the Broncos, even if they're up a lot, he's going to do stupid things to get them back in the game. I think this is going to be a closer game.
Well, he's probably one of those coaches that'll do prevent defense with a 10-point lead and 9 minutes left. It's like, no, dude.
It's nuts how he can coach like an old guy, and he's a young guy. Like, it's so bizarre to see that.
Yeah,
he's a young kid. Well, a young guy.
C-Dub says coach is minus 3.5.
Coach is minus 3.5.
Jamie, did you take Houston in that game?
He did. She did. She took Houston with the points. I love the call. That was a good call.
I'm not 100% sure on that because Broncos are by far a better team. As long as the coach doesn't screw up. If the coach makes, his horrible decisions like he did last week, then yeah, that's a great pick. But you can't bet on a coach being stupid 2 weeks in a row. Like, how the hell did he get to the NFL in the first place?
It's an interesting spot. I mean, for one, the good thing is for the purpose of our segment, we're only picking the team to win. Okay, so that's Denver. They will win, despite the coach.
Yeah, it's Denver will win despite how stupid the coach is. Even if he screws up, they're still going to win by 3 or 4.
Yeah.
If he doesn't screw up, they win by 14.
You generally never want to lay points on big home favorites, and maybe even less on big road favorites.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember, Denver was giving 6.5 at the Seahawks. I'm like, I didn't like that line at all.
No.
I was like, I just did not feel comfortable. No, I didn't play it, but I'm like, you're definitely not going to have me pick Denver in that because they haven't even proven anything yet. Like, you don't know enough about them. It was a weird spot. I do, by the way, Jillian, I love your comment that you love the Cowboys because of the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders show, which
she watches the cheerleader show. Yeah, my wife does too. Actually,
I will tell you what, it's a fun show.
That's so funny. All right, so we're all picking Denver in that scenario, right? Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one is in Vegas. 78% of people think they will beat the Cardinals. Both teams lost week 1. I could see that. A lot of Raiders fans were beating each other up in the stands, I saw. So that's interesting. And
actually beating each other up.
Fans are more physical than the team. That's hysterical.
Yeah. So it turns out that it's not just an Oakland thing. But anyway,
that's not an Oakland thing at all.
Yeah.
It's a Raiders thing.
Exactly. So all right. All right. I'm picking the Raiders, I think. I don't know. I'm really torn on this one, but I'll start with Davey. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's that tough a decision. I think the Raiders were really, really gutty against the Chargers. It's a pretty good team, I think. They did make some dumb decisions like in that game that cost them, but the Cardinals are very, very bad. A couple things I'm going to bring up here with Arizona. One, my friends were saying like I feel like they feel like the players have tuned out Cliff Kingsbury because he's that kind of guy. He can be really polarizing. They could be selling him out this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So they might be tuning him out. 1, 2, their offensive line, the Cardinals' offensive line, continues to be absolutely useless. Like, everybody gets through them. And Murray cannot spend any time in the pocket to throw. He is always running away from everybody in almost every play. So he cannot get consistent offense because he gets zero protection. And you're just not going to win games that way. So I think the Raiders have more of their shit together between the two teams. I'm going to go Raiders.
Okay, that's how I was thinking too. But Stuart, do you agree with that assessment?
Cardinals look terrible to me. The Raiders aren't a great team, but
it's
Cardinals
amazing because the Cardinals were pretty good a couple of years ago, and they've fallen off pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting how that.
Who's the quarterback there? Is it Murray?
It's Murray, yeah. But I feel bad for him. He's not getting any help at all. No help. Like last year's same thing. Like
how is he gonna? Yeah, how are you gonna play if you're running around in the backfield just trying not to get hit, right? Mm-hmm. I just I can't pick the Cardinals. There's no way I could.
It's sometimes teams are that bad enough where it's like you need to prove. Like this, I used to do with the Jets a lot. You need to prove to me that you can win the game before I pick you. Same, and the Giants too. I think last year. Like, I'm not picking you until you prove to me you can win a game. And I think the Cardinals are going to be in that place until they actually win a game. They may not win a game for a while, especially if they don't win this one against the Raiders. So that's my thought.
Davey, we just hit 3 hours on our co-stream. That's pretty good.
Holy cow. Love it.
It goes pretty quickly. All right, so we're going to go with the Raiders. We've got 3 more picks left to do. And then I'm probably after that, going to have to call it a night. Just because I've got work super early in the morning, and it's already midnight here on the East Coast. But let's get through these last 3 picks, and then I'll probably raid into your channel, Davey, and then we can all raid in somewhere together. And and then we can figure out where you want to send people to or whatever.
We can talk about that because I was thinking I could do some music tonight too if you want.
Okay, well then I'll just write in and then
we'll make some
do
decisions.
whatever they want to, and I can still stay in chat, but I will.
Okay.
But that'll be perfect. Yeah, I just there's a couple of things I have to do before I go to bed as well. So.
Oh yeah, no worries, Robbie, no worries.
Yeah. I would stay up all night otherwise. The Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers is the next one. The Bears won their first game. The Packers lost their first game. The Packers are favored in this one by 84%. It is in Green Bay. It's the 8:20 Sunday night football game. I think this is a really a tough one. Wait, so there's 2 Monday night football games coming up this week? Is that right? I just saw that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
correct.
there's two. Yes.
They're
Yeah.
doing their, but yeah, they usually
I remember
do a
there
double
being 2. Yeah.
and they're staggered really awkwardly too. 'Cause,
They
like,
are
one of
awkward
them's-
staggered. We'll get into that. Let's talk about the. Yeah, I was very confused. I was like, there's still 2 games. How is that
Yeah.
possible? Anyway, sorry. Let's do the Sunday night game first. Bears at Packers. I'm taking the Packers in this one. Davey, what are your thoughts?
I think it's This is another case of the Bears need to prove it to me that they can beat the Packers before I ever pick them in a game head to head. You ever want me to bet against Aaron Rodgers? There are a few cases where I would do it, and this is one of those cases where I would never do it. Like this is, I mean, he owns the Packers, you guys. Like this is not. I mean, the Bears have beaten them like once, I think, in like 15 tries. I'm not gonna pick that side of the matchup, so I'm gonna go Packers. I feel like the Packers will take this once again. They're not as bad as they looked last week. They just had some bad things go against them, and it fell apart quickly. But if you remember, this kind of thing happened last year. They had a really rough week 1. C-Dub could tell you all about it, but they rebounded from that fine in week 2 and 3, 4, and 5, 6.
All right, real quickly, I just want to talk about Aaron Rodgers. That dude is super crazy. His interview before that game with all the ayahuasca bullshit, I was like, what are, like, he sounds so hippy dippy. I was like, I know he's a good quarterback and MVP and he does all these crazy things in these journeys, but like, I don't know if I can still trust him to win it all again. I know he's done it. I just don't know if he's ever going to do it again. I don't know. I mean, I'm still picking him in this game, don't get me wrong, but it's just, he says some pretty crazy shit.
I'm with you on that, and I think C-Dub is with you on that. And he's a big Packer fan. He thinks he's a nut job. He's a nut job, no doubt.
C-Dub and I do not see eye to eye on the Packers. I couldn't hate a team more because Rodgers is the biggest douchebag to have ever played the game. You could make the argument that Brett Favre is the biggest douchebag. He's stolen from charities and shit. But no, they've replaced him with Rodgers, and I think Rodgers might be more of a douchebag than Brett Favre. So I hate the Packers. Will the Bears win? No, but I'd rather pick the Bears just because I want to see the Packers lose. But honestly, Rodgers is on the downhill now. I think. I don't think he's going to be flat. Without what's his name, the wide receiver there. That's a huge difference to that team, to that offense. Honestly, they didn't really lose to Minnesota. They just got a little unlucky against Minnesota. That first play of the game where the rookie receiver dropped the ball, or the goal line stance thing. It's Minnesota got a little bit lucky winning the game, but nonetheless. Rodgers is still the biggest douchebag in the game, so I hate him. So I'm going to say Bears just because I want Rodgers to lose, but honestly, Packers are going to win.
Yeah. Okay. I think the Packers are going to win too. So, all right, let's get into these 2 Monday Night Football matchups. One is on ESPN and the other is on ABC. Is this just like a one-off, or why is this happening? David, do you know?
Yeah, I still haven't figured out why they're doing it on week 2, not week 1. But usually, when you get when Monday Night Football gets going, they have 2 games on week 1, and the doubleheader tends to be like 7 to 10, and then 10 to like midnight, or 10 to 1 a.m. in the morning. So I honestly have no idea why they did it this way. But I will say
Maybe
that one of the
East
games.
Coast. Oh, why? I see why. It's the second. They're both on the East Coast. So
Right.
One's
right.
in Buffalo, one's in Philly. They're not going to put
Yeah.
one of those games on at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. They definitely have done 2 games to start and during. They've done a 2 game. They've
Right.
done a
But
doubleheader.
usually they have a
doubleheader.
West Coast one as the second one, so
Yeah.
they can do it starting at 7. Their time is still 10
Yeah.
East Coast.
I feel
So
like
this-
when you do that, you take away some of these take away juice from one of the 2 from each game, right? They should just. I think they did it right last week. Like, let's just do one game. It's a big game. Okay, cool. This is one game. I don't think they need to do doubleheaders all the time. Like, I'm not as big a fan as other people are of that, especially if you're staggering them. It's like, like, why do you make me choose between these games? Why can't I just watch one of them and enjoy it?
And then watch
So-
the other one. Well, we know which game Stewart's watching between the 2 games.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the other one though, which is the game that KR would be watching if he's still listening in chat.
Mhm.
He's a big Buffalo Bills fan. They're 1-0. 97% people think that they will beat the Titans, and I agree with that. I think the Bills, they've been knocking on the door the last couple of years on doing some big things, and the Bills have been really good these last couple of years. So I think they've surprised people, and I would pick the Bills again in this scenario. I'll start with Davey. What are your thoughts?
We are talking about. Let me just. Okay, so we're doing the Titans game first.
Yes.
Okay. I
'Cause
love the
that's
Titans to cover.
That's a 7:15 ESPN game.
I think people are as would be predictable. I think everybody's completely like down on Tennessee because they lost the Giants. Look, they made a lot of stupid decisions. They made a lot of mistakes. Are they really that bad? No, they're not. I think the Titans are going to give the Bills a game. And here's the thing: recent history favors the Titans here. They've played the Bills tough every single time they've met, regular season, playoffs, whatever have you. They give this team a game, and I think the Bills blew a game against Tennessee in prime time recently. Like last year, they had the Titans just fought off the Bills. I forget whether it was in Tennessee or if it was in Buffalo, but I still think the Bills have a little proving to do with the Tennessee Titans. This is gonna be wild. I'm gonna take the Titans to win. Outright.
Titans won 34-31 on October 18th of 2021. It was in Tennessee, and Tennessee came back in that game. They were down and scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. So
Yeah. So
this is a tough one. I'm still picking the
tough one.
Buffalo Bills. Stuart, what are your thoughts?
There's a few things in chat that I gotta mention here.
yeah, there's some wildness in the chat right now, folks.
What happened in here again? Oh, first of all, FGER UFC, whoever that is, said got some beautiful blue eyes, Stuart. Yeah, thank you. And then Sue, someone in chat said I have beautiful blue eyes. Wife's ignoring me. And then someone says Stuart set up his ice. Yeah. I'm obviously.
I'm gonna take that bitch down.
My wife says I'm gonna take that bitch down.
Oh boy.
And then Virgin Not by Choice said Stuart set up his ice. Yeah, I'm obviously not a streamer. The other two are streamers. So yeah, you're just getting my cold wall in the background. That's all you get.
Yeah.
This one, Bills straight up is an obvious one. I think Titans are overrated. Someone in the chat said I think it was Virgin by Choice said they're overrated. I think they're a little overrated. They're an okay team, but the Bills they're the real deal. I think they win this game easy. So that's a no-brainer for me. They
should win the game. I mean, for what it's worth, I think they should win the game. Will they win the game? That's a different matter. I don't know. But I think they should win. So
it's funny because like
how much was that green screen? Looks so real. Okay, that's enough.
All right.
Here, look at my damn window.
Yeah. Tina French just joined in, and then I will allow this. I'm sorry that it tried to block the word Redskins. So I missed my prediction for the Redskins. Tina French is a local fan. She's also a big person across Twitch and mods for a lot of people. I think we ended up picking the Lions in that game. Did we all three pick the Lions, or did any of us pick the Commanders?
I picked the winning team.
Yeah, I picked the home team.
I went Lions only because of the home team. That game, I tell you, I would not bet that game at all, even with the spread.
See, they just called me out for a flip flop. In what regard? Because I picked the Titans and I said the Bills should win the game. I'm not going back on my pick. I'm not walking it back. I think the Titans will win.
You think the Titans will win? Okay, and
I
then
think the Titans will win. I think the Titans will win. They can control the line of
in
scrimmage.
Buffalo, really?
That didn't
I think
bother them last time.
I don't think the Titans are as good as they were last year.
I don't
No,
either.
no,
I think they're a little overrated, and honestly, the Bills are the real deal.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that. But I also
I think if the game was in Tennessee, I'd feel differently. But I think if it's in Buffalo,
Hey, look who's in the chat. Violent Vibing presents. What's going on, Vibing? How are you doing tonight?
nice. Oh wow, we've I think their stream may be done. Is that right? I was gonna suggest.
That's right. It's Thursday
Yeah,
night.
I hope
How was
that you
your
guys had
stream,
a great stream.
If we go a little bit
Yeah.
longer, we can raid Island Vibing.
And then
What?
Amara's.
Oh, you mean like some of the Surf Shack? Yeah.
Surf Shack, yeah. We all pull a
Need a couple more
KR.
hours. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
folks, I do want to remind you, but before while we're talking about this, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Robbie. But Robbie, myself, and Modfather, and C-Dub, and Louise, the LJ Music, and Adjacent, and Stuart are all going to be part of this event tomorrow night at the Surf Shack. Check it out. Yeah, the lip sync party. So we're all gonna lip sync to songs and dance along. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. So go.
Oh, I
follow
did
the
say
Surf
hi
Shack.
to Tina. Hi, Tina French.
Oh yeah, I said Tina. Well, welcome in. Good to see you again, by the way. But yeah,
I
lip sync
didn't
party
say it.
tomorrow at the Surf Shack. Don't miss it. I'm excited too, vibing. I love it. If you want to check that out, go follow the Surf Shack right now on Twitch. I'll give you the link here in the Sandwich Show chat. There you go.
So thank you, Tina and E-Flat Guy, for joining both chats. And so it's kind of fun to see each chat has something a little bit different to bring with comments. So it's interesting to see. But yeah, I think I always bet against my team unless I feel like really confident. And so I know she's upset because she's gonna take the skins, as she called them. So all right. All right, so I'm gonna go with Bills. I know that Davey is still picking the Titans, but I think I'm gonna stick with the Bills on that one. And then the last game is the most important game for Stuart. The Vikings go to the Eagles. Both teams won their first week. The Vikings are actually favored to go into Philadelphia and win that game. 62% of people are picking the Vikings in that 8:30 ABC game. And I'm torn because I thought the Eagles were supposed to be really good this year. So part of me wants to go with the Eagles, but I don't know. Stuart, talk me into picking the Vikings.
Well, both teams were supposed to be really good this year, and the Vikings, they took down the Packers a little luckily. I can't say that was an easy win or they kicked their asses or anything like that. The score kind of made it look better than it is, but the reality is, I think the Vikings are a really good team this year. Can they win on the road against the Eagles? Yeah, I think they can. I'd slightly favor them, but not a lot. It's going to be a bloody close game as far as I can tell. So
What is the spread in the game? I can't see
1.5 or something like that, I think.
Oh
I'll
wow,
go check that too. Let me see.
1.5. Yeah. Well, here it's 1.5. I don't know what you guys get. But...
Yep.
Yeah.
And 1.5 is logical because I don't think this is an easy win, but I do think the Vikings is just a slightly better team. So,
I mean, if it's 1.5, it's almost leading me to take the Vikings because usually the home team gets that 3-point nudge. They really must give a lot of value to the Vikings in that situation. So, Tina French and I picked Kirky Cousins. Yeah, we have a long history here in Washington with Kirk Cousins.
that's true, right? Yeah. You know what? I actually think he's better now, but nonetheless, he's still not a flashy quarterback. He's not,
and he's still not worth that contract. I'm sorry. I'm happy that we didn't pay that. So I couldn't believe that you guys did that, but
I wasn't jumping up and down about it. But you know what? It is what it is. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He's just.
I mean, we kept on franchising him, so he was getting about the same level of money from us. So I can't really say it's so crazy, but at least eventually we stopped doing that.
Yeah, I'd take Vikings, and I'm not a homer when it comes to betting or picking winners. I've never been. I just think Vikings are just a little bit better, so I think they win.
All right, Davey, now try to convince me to pick the Eagles. Make it all that much more difficult.
Um.
Can you not? Are you
Oh
pick-
no, it's not.
pick-
Actually, I have an argument. Here. This is what I was talking about earlier. I think you want to be careful with the teams that were extremely good in week 1 and the teams that were extremely bad in week 1. There's almost always a bounce back. So in this scenario,
especially when they play at home in the second week.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Eagles, I like the Eagles here. I think they're going to win. So I was C-Dub here. Eagles all day. Jefferson had the game of his life last week. He had an insane numbers specifically for fantasy football purposes.
He'll keep doing that. He is the real deal. That one. He's something
great.
else.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think he's going to do that again, but he's definitely going to put great numbers up all year.
No, all year long. He'd probably be number 1 by the end of the year. I could make an argument for that.
Yeah. Vibing may have the comment of the night.
They can fly.
Why don't you read it? Yes.
Yeah, they can fly. They are bigger than you would expect them to be. They are rather scary when they fly over your canoe.
Jesus.
It's phenomenal.
All right. Well, on that note, just for vibing, I will pick the Eagles, even though, and that's mostly, as I always say, I tend to, in these toss-up games, pick the team that I hate. So that way I can either be happy when they lose and I lose the points, but oh well, or if they win, then at least I got the points. So I will pick the Eagles in that one. So yeah, Robbie said you did it. You did a great job. So I was convinced. I'll pick the Eagles. But Cito says the Vikings have a large horn. It's true. It's true. It's very convincing. All right. Well,
that was go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, the last question is the tiebreaker. How many total points will be scored in the Vikings and Eagles game? What do you guys think about that question?
Stuart?
Well, that's a good. I want to see what they did last week. I can't remember the numbers. Eagles got 38 last week, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is total points. This is
48.
What is the over-under currently set at?
50
I don't know.
points. 50 points. So 50 and depending where you go, it could be 51 and a half.
Did Cito say 48?
Yeah, he said 48.
That's funny. I said 48 too, but yeah, 48 is a good guess because there's no way Eagles get 38 points against the Vikings. It's their defense is too good for that. And the Vikings offense, I'm not sure they'll put up a lot of points. So 48 is my thinking.
What? Tina just subbed for 6 months in advance? Oh my goodness.
Tina!
Taking advantage of September.
Whoa!
Wow.
Tina!
I really appreciate that. No one's ever done that in my channel before. So that is a really nice thing. So and it helps me towards my sub goal, and I really appreciate it. That's very nice of you.
Jamie took 48 too.
All right, Jamie picked 48. Tina in my chat said 50. I was thinking 50 as well. So
Jamie took 48 too. So me, Jamie, and Cito all took 48.
Right.
Davey, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna say 49.
Just to be in the middle.
Just to be an ass. Just like
It's
like like in the prices right where
I
that
wonder
guy
if I
would,
could put 49 and a half into the thing now. I'm gonna go. All right, I'll go 49 as well because that's right in between what everyone was picking.
Okay.
So I like that.
I'm pulling a Price is Right move. I'm like, yeah, it's like 250, 251, 252.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, there's a Pokemon in chat if anybody is interested in an execute. So
of course, vibing, of course. I don't 143. I love it.
I said 143. Nice. All right. Well, I think I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that I need to do on my end on my stream. I may just initiate a raid over to Davy and bring everybody that's over to you guys, and then I'll still stay in chat and hang out while I clean my house. But that way I can still do that before I go to sleep.
Yeah, you got to clean your house because your wife was away and everyone's you had a messy house. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. It should be not to be expected. Also, it's trash day tomorrow, so I need to take it out and things like that. But the fun stuff of living in a house by yourself. But I really appreciate Davey for having me on and being a part of this. And I'm gonna raid over, but I'm gonna still stay in your chat for a couple more minutes.
Thanks.
And
thanks.
So, but anybody that is in my chat, we're gonna head over right now and for a super surprise raid of Davy.
Super surprised. You should be very shocking, folks. But Robbie, thank you so much for being a part of this, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this as well. This has been a really fun dual stream together.
I think it really
and,
shows that we could do this. Maybe at a Monday later in the year, we could talk a little hockey or something where I join your show in progress, you join mine, whatever.
Yep.
You know, we now know that this is possible, so that's exciting.
Pretty cool. I love this. Like I live for logistics, and I'm glad that this worked out. Yeah, 100%. So thanks so much. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Everybody on Robbie's and everybody on over here on the Sandwich Show. And oh, here comes. Well, don't spoil the raid, Robbie G's people.
I'll hit that raid over now button.
Okay.
And
So,
yeah.
I think I fully participated in this conversation effectively. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us as well. It was really fun chatting with you tonight. Oh my God, here comes the raid! I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh my God, never saw this coming. Let's say hello, everybody, to our friends Robbie G. Thank you very much for being our co-host tonight. I predict a riot. I predict a riot. Welcome in, Robbie G Sports OTHP.